Hello everyone and welcome back. We have another piercing video, yay! And today's video is going to be based around a little series that I'm going to start. And this series will be about the most asked piercing questions on the internet. Some of these are so ridiculous, but they are the most asked piercing questions over the entire span of the internet. I'm sure there's many websites out there that you can look it up, but you can basically type in a word or a topic, and around that word, it will find the most asked questions about that. So I've put in piercings. Basically, they're all based around questions that are where, are, how, can, what, will, why, who, when, which. So answering questions like, for example, first one I see, are piercings a sin? Before we get into the video, I would like to thank our sponsor, Native. I've been using Native deodorant for quite a few months now, and I honestly have found it to be the freshest deodorant I have ever used. It is also aluminium free and paraben free, vegan and cruelty free. And if you have a look at the packaging, you will see there's so many familiar ingredients that you will know and understand. And it's insane how long Native deodorant lasts. It's up to 72-hour odor protection. The scents that I got are sweet peach and nectar. Before finding this Native peach scent, I always used a peach deodorant. So now that I've found this Native one, it has become my favorite peach scent. Something about like the sweetness and the freshness of peach that I just am obsessed with in a deodorant. The citrus and herbal musk, like almost that scent that smells really good in a male's like perfume or deodorant. And then it has like this fruity top note. It's really cool. Cashmere and Rain. Cashmere and Rain is from the Cabin collection, which is a limited edition fall collection. It's got a super fresh, almost like really clean clothing smell, but then it has that smell of like rain outside. It's a clean and wholesome smell. It's really hard to explain, but it's a really cool smell. So I also have a deal for you. If you buy 3 deodorants today, they normally come in at $39 total, but you can get 33% off, bringing it down to $26 with my code LEGITCREEP2. With my code, you can also get 20% off toothpaste or body wash. Thank you so much, Native. Now let's get into the video. Let's just start with, if I start with who, I don't think we can do who. Who is also clearly coming up as a term for Christianity because it's talking about Jesus on the cross, I suppose. It says the first most searched question is who pierced Jesus in his side? Yes, I should know the answer to that because as a piercer, this is like the first thing we learn is the piercing of the Jesus. Just how well they pierce through those hands, because that is what we are all striving to become. We are all striving to get to a point where we crucify people. I'm sorry, that was probably way too far, but that's just what we do here. We aren't trying to crucify people. That is not the purpose of being a piercer. If you did not know that, who pierced ears? Me pierce ears? Who pierced baby ears?
Who did it? Who pierced baby ears?
Many people, actually. A lot of people still pierce babies' ears, and it's generally people who are piercing babies' ears with a gun, because most, like, any reputable place will not pierce babies' ears. And they won't be piercing them with a needle because they won't be piercing them full stop. Who pierced Jesus on the cross? Who pierced Bezus? Oh, Bezus, my mate. The people need to know. Jesus, why are you letting the people not know who did the piercing? If it were my channel, Jesus, the channel that is your world, I would have told the people who pierced your side. I didn't know Jesus got pierced in the side, to be honest. As a piercer, I probably should know that. All right, look, we're not going to do who because the who is very much about Jesus himself and we piercers don't know anything about. Maybe you can go to a Christian piercer and they'll tell you all about it when you get a piercing, but I am not one of them. We'll go to what next? What piercings can you get? So let's give this a go without me pausing for ages or saying It's not going to happen. Let's begin. Helix, conch, tragus, antitragus, lobe, transverse lobe, snug, daith, rook, industrial, orbital, third eye, bridge, rhino, septral, septum, come to me, nostril, high nostril, nasolang, Austin, Medusa, Medusa labret, vertical labret, angel bites, snake bites, all of the above, Ashley, Gestrum, cheeks, smiley, frowny, tongue. Why am I so slow at this? Me just trying to gain more time by like speaking. Tongue, frenulum, navel, eyebrow. Honestly, dermal. I don't know if I can think of any other ones. Oh, I didn't say anti-eyebrow. I think I did pretty well, to be honest. Just trying to like list everything. Lists are not my forte, that's for sure. So those are the piercings you can get. What piercings can you get at 13? And then there's also what piercings can you get at 14? Then there's also what piercings can you get at 11? Now, all of these are going to be dependent on where you go. They're also going to be dependent on the country, the state's rules. At that age, there's nothing you can go and get without parent consent, at least in Australia. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but at least in Australia, you have to get parental consent for all of these. A 13 and 14-year-old, most places, if their parents are consenting, signing for them, they can get almost all of the piercings. Obviously not any genital piercings or a nipple piercing. Basically every other piercing that I listed, a person of that age can get them. Most piercers will pierce someone at that age with parental consent. There's not really anything you can do to say no at that age. If the parent is consenting and the teenager at that point understands what they have to do to look after it, then yes, you can't really turn someone away for that kind of age. Now 11 is where I don't really feel comfortable piercing certain things. From the lobes to probably about like maybe your 5th piercing up your ear, like I have no problem with, but it's when like 11-year-olds are wanting to get like nose piercings and tongue piercings. But at the end of the day, it really depends what the rules are, where you are, the like studio you're going to. It all really depends. I can't really give you an exact answer. I definitely have worked at places where it's kind of been like, you do this, like it's your job, this person's parent is consenting and there's no age that says that they can't have it done. Yeah, you have to be really careful with this one because I guess it could come into like discrimination if you're like saying this 11-year-old like can't get it, but the 13-year-old's fine. Like, do you know what I mean? It's so hard. It's like, when does the line come in there? It doesn't mean I'm happy about doing a piercing on an 11-year-old for something like a tongue or like a nose. It's definitely a lot better if you're in a workplace where that sort of thing is understood. Some studios' rules might be that they won't do certain piercings unless the person's over 13. But parental consent is still needed for that. And that's just their rule. Whereas other places, if they don't have a rule in place, there's not really anything that the piercer or the studio can do about that. They don't have that rule in place. If the parent is going to consent and sign for it, that child technically is allowed to get the piercing. It's at the piercer's discretion though as well. If we don't believe that the child is going to look after the piercing, then we can turn people away. However, you will get some parents who aren't so nice about that and they will get very aggressive and basically tell you you have to do it and threaten you with various things, even legal action. So it's a very fine line between like a yes and a no. Like, I'm not promoting 11-year-olds going out and getting like certain piercings. I definitely would always recommend having an age in place for most piercings because people under the age of 16 generally aren't taking the best care of it anyway. And I'm just making a generalization here, but for the most part that is true. But there are some people who will look after it a lot. Some people over 16, over 18 who don't look after their piercings, so it's very hard to make that call. What piercings can be done with a gun? Of course this was asked. Well, none. Some people like to believe that a anywhere on the ear can be pierced with a gun. Some people like to believe that a nose can be pierced with a gun. I mean, I've seen videos of tongues being pierced with a gun, navels, like people think pretty much anything. So like it depends who you're asking this question to, but if you're asking a piercer, we say nothing. Needles always. What piercings help with what? I love that. It's like, what piercing cures everything? Piercings aren't exactly like a holistic healing practice in any way. So actually nothing, but people do like to believe that the daith helps with migraines, whether that is just like lessening them, making them not as intense, or getting rid of them altogether. But I've spoken about this before. I would definitely watch this video. It's all about the pressure point in that spot. However, getting a piercing can damage the pressure point and it can alleviate the migraines for a little while, but then they can come back. So you don't want to damage that spot. I've said this a million times before, but check with someone who does acupuncture. They have the real knowledge. We do not. We don't know what we're doing. We're just doing a piercing. We're doing the piercing. We don't know the acupuncture pressure points. But that is what people believe will help with that. No other piercing helps with anything though, really. They help you look cool. Is that what you mean? What piercings hurt the most? Again, this is a really hard one to answer because so many people feel pain very differently. It's crazy how differently people can feel the same piercing. Like for instance, some people find the navel to be excruciating, others hardly feel it, don't feel it at all. So it really depends, but nipples are well known to be like the worst, like so brutal. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope that you would enjoy if we kept doing this series. There's still so many questions to answer for all the other sections of the most asked piercing questions on the internet. So please let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm having so much fun doing it because some of the questions are so hilarious and it's just entertaining me to no end. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll be back very soon. Bye.